liberty, humanity, justice, equality. Independence is happiness. Failure is impossible. Resistance to tyranny is obedience to God. The older I get, the greater power I seem to have to help the world. I am like a snowball. The further I am rolled, the more I gain. I do not assume that woman is better than man. I do assume that she has a different way of looking at things. I don't want to die as long as I can work. The minute I cannot, I want to go. Nothing is hopeless that is right. You would better educate 10 women into the practice of liberal principles than to organize 1,000 on a platform of intolerance and bigotry. It's too bad that our buddies wear out, while our interests are just as strong as ever. Every woman should have a purse of her own. To think I have had more than 60 years of hard struggle for a little liberty, and then to die without it seems so cruel. No man is good enough to govern any woman without her consent. Marriage, to women as to men, must be a luxury, not a necessity. The fact is, women are in chains, and their servitude is all the more debasing, because they do not realize it. No genuine equality, no real freedom, no true manhood or womanhood can exist on any foundation, save that of pecuniary independence. There is not a woman born who desires to eat the bread of dependence. The only question left to be settled now is, are women persons? To be successful, a person must attempt but one reform. By osing two, both are injured, as the average mind can grasp and assimilate, but one idea at a time. When woman has a newspaper which fear and favor cannot touch, then it will be that she can freely write her own thoughts. Sentiment never was and never can be a guarantee for justice. Many abolitionists have yet to learn the ABC of women's rights. Better lose me than lose a state. A Republican government should be based on free and equal education among the people. I expect to do more work for women's suffrage in the next decade than ever before. The worst enemy women have is in the pulpit. What an absurd notion that women have not intellectual and moral faculties, sufficient for anything else but domestic concerns. If a man's public record be a clear one, if he has kept his pledges before the world, I do not inquire what his private life may have been. I declare to you that woman must not depend upon the protection of man, but must be taught to protect herself. And there I take my stand. We need a daily paper edited and composed according to woman's own thoughts, and not as woman thinks. A man wants her to think and write. Organize, agitate, educate must be our war cry. To be wedded to an idea may be the holiest and happiest of marriages. Why should we not pray to our mother, who are in heaven, as well as to our Father? Independent bread gives independent morals, while pecuniary dependence makes moral subserviency. So get money, get wealth. Independent bread alone can redeem woman from her curse of subjection to man. Every generation of converts threshes over the same old straw. I was born a heretic. I always distrusted people who know so much about what God wants them to do to their fellows. The religious persecution of the ages has been done under what was claimed to be the command of God. Men, their rights, and nothing more. Woman, their rights, and nothing less. Wherever women gather together, failure is impossible. Don't trust those people who know what God wants them to do, because I notice it always coincides with their own desires. Those who are really in earnest must be willing to be anything or nothing in the world's estimation. The rank and file are not philosophers. They are not educated to think for themselves, but simply to accept, unquestioned, whatever comes. There shall never be another season of silence until women have the same rights men have on this green earth. Suffrage is the pivotal right. No self-respecting woman should wish or work for the success of a party that ignores her sex. There never will be complete equality until women themselves help to make laws and elect lawmakers. Join the union, girls, and together say, equal pay for equal work. I think the girl who is able to earn her own living and pay her own way should be as happy as anybody on earth. The sense of independence and security is very sweet. The men and women of the North are slaveholders. Those of the South, slave owners. The guilt rests on the North, equally with the South. Our job is not to make young women grateful. It is to make them grateful, so they keep going. Gratitude never radicalized anybody. I do not consider divorce an evil by any means. It is just as much a refuge for women married to brutal men as Canada was to the slaves of brutal masters. Woman, we might as well be dogs baying the moon as petitioners without the right to vote.